What is up, party people? I'm back. Absolutely, I'm back. That's Kyle's cousin. Remember when they tried to get rhythm on South Park 1,000 times? He just kept coming, I'm back. Well, I think Dez and Brian filling in. I needed a couple days off. I was like super excited. I thought, oh, cool, I'll come back. You know what? This crap will be done with this Abrego cat.
Oh, yeah, they got that all wrapped up, Brother Chad.
Yeah, that's it. Finally, everybody, we got the transparency we were looking for. Due process is handled. Yeah, still talking about that. I can't even. And, of course, the Pope. Poping ain't easy, right, Bell? Poping ain't easy.
I've been saying it for weeks.
That was something. The day after Easter.
1,300 years since the Pope died on Easter Monday.
Yeah.
They got to pick they got to pick a name, whoever it is. We're going to go over that. I got a breakdown of it later that is going to be very exciting.
There are 135 cardinals that are eligible.
Yeah, but 5 are, we know who we're talking about. Right. The 5.
The 5.
There's 5 of them.
They need a female pope. We need to make her female.
Can't be a priest, man.
Sure.
That would be something.
Right? Female pope. Poping ain't easy. Don't let me a woman do that. What do you? That's the Lord's work. Female pope. I was telling Belle, I was about ready to tweet something yesterday, and I thought, nope. Oh, good God. I was telling Chris, though, God, the way that some people made it sound, it was like he was just getting ready to, everything was back up again.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to go out for a jog.
Yeah, man.
And something bad. No, he was 88. That dude lived 10 years past his sell-by date.
Yeah. It's kind of like the passing of President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, I know people are like shocked. You can't believe it? I can't believe he lived that long.
He'd been in hospice for like 3 years.
I've never seen anybody live in hospice that long because he wanted to vote for Kamala. Bet he would have wished sooner. Oh, geez, my Lord.
Welcome back, Brother Chad.
It was good. How was your Easter? Everybody good?
It was good, man.
Pretty good?
It was good, man.
Did you do anything crazy?
No, didn't do anything crazy. Went and had some burgers and some brews with my daughter.
Nice.
And just sat back and chilled, and just thanked God for Christ Jesus.
That's a wonder. He came back.
Yep.
He's like, surprise!
Hello.
He did the same thing. It rolled the bolt over. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, geez. Now you guys are messing with religion. I mess with everything.
You're already at it, dude.
So get over it, for God's sakes.
No sacred cows. No sacred cows.
No. The first thing my uncle tweeted me at like 2 a.m. Yes, I had to go to the bathroom. I got up, and he's all, the Pope is dead. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are readying their steeds. Oh, I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Oh, everybody thinks that on the line already. There could be a female pope. We'll call her Popey. Popette.
Poppy.
Can't have a female. You know what would be neat, though? If they got to pick their own name, and they're like, I don't want to do any of those. I want to be called Johnny Thunder.
Or, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff. St. Jeff. With a G. Could you imagine it? Yeah, here comes our Lord and Savior. Here comes the Pope, Johnny Thunder. How great would that be? I want to be Johnny Thunder. You guys voted me in. I'm picking my name. You trust me to run this thing? I can pick my own name.
Better look out. Ray Fiennes might have something to say about that.
Oh, the first thing I thought of is like, oh, that movie, The Conclave.
When you texted me, man, that's exactly what I thought of.
Which one of you sent the picture of
I
Ray
did.
Fiennes? You did? Okay.
Yeah. Pope, it ain't easy. First thing I texted the guys yesterday. Pope, it ain't easy. Johnny Thunder, the Pope.
I should have trademarked that.
You should have. That'd be a great shirt to have. Pope, it ain't easy. They've already got them on
now.
You know what's weird is when they have people laying in wait.
Yes. My wife was mentioning that this morning.
I find it odd.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because this is different than like when you walk by, Like people went and walked by Jimmy Carter's casket. Wait, you want me to wait 4 hours in line to walk by a guy I've never met inside of a box?
Right.
Is he going to pop out at any given time? Well, if he's not, then why would I do this?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not, but I just saw pictures of him already today laying in wait. I think that looks creepy. That looks just eerie. He's got the outfit on and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pope Thunder.
He's got the little Pope fence-digging helmet on.
He's got the whole thing on, and he's got the beef eaters next to him.
Yeah, what are those spears those two guys are holding? Are they spears or just?
Well, I
just
think they're supposed to be spears. They're like what are they? Swiss Guard? Is that what they're called? It's funny that the neutral folks get to be the guard of the Pope. I hope you guys know that if something happens, he's not getting your back. He's not going to fight with the other guy either. He's just going to kind of watch while he eats chocolate.
I have to maintain my neutrality.
Yeah. Pope and 80. Yeah, so they got him. Now in this, because it's Saturday, right, is when they're laying him to rest.
I believe so.
Yes.
Now, and there'll be a bunch of people there. So this is just for the inner sanctum and the circle. The average person doesn't get to go see him laying and wait, I don't think.
Yeah, yesterday, I think last night they had a special service mainly for family and friends.
Okay.
And higher-ups, if you will. But as far as laying in state, so to speak, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think this is for everybody.
Okay. People keep saying they're lances. One person says they're halberds. I don't know what those lances are, those things. They're decorative.
Yeah.
So what happened to the Pope that resigned? Does he have to, take over until they figure out the new Pope?
No, the guy from Dallas is like the interim Pope. So there's a guy from Dallas, Friar Tuck, I think his name is.
That just seems so inefficient to me. You've got an ex-Pope. You have him do it until they elect a new Pope. And that way he's still earning his keep. He's not just down there, taking up valuable rental space.
Yeah, no, the right now, because I think that guy died. Didn't he? The other one?
No.
Or is he still living next door?
Yeah, he's still living next door in a little private apartment.
So this, the guy that is running it now, he has say over a lot of stuff, but there's certain things he can't do. And they don't call him, whatever, Popus guy. But you have to have the ring, I guess, to have the magic powers. It's like the Green Lantern, right?
Well, or it's like being Mormon, you got to have the underwear on.
Yeah, you got to have the magic drawers. This is different though. The guy, he gets to handle the day-to-day running of the Vatican, like the business side of it, and he would be the person that everybody kind of confers with if there was some big Pope and things that needed to be done. But it's like. It would be like the Secretary of State if both the Vice President and the President, you're running stuff, but you're not really running stuff.
You're running it, but you ain't Pope.
Yeah, you ain't Pope. They're not calling you Pope. What's up, Pope? Pope-alicious. Johnny Thunder. I'm telling you guys, Johnny Thunder. Yeah, see, Pope Benedict did die.
He did?
Yeah.
I thought he just I know he's dead now. I believe.
Yeah.
I got to look this up, man.
It's for respect of a dead person. You clearly have no respect, so it's not for you. Okay. Well, we're fine with that. Is that the laying the laying in way? I just think it's odd.
Yeah, Benedict died in 2022.
Yeah.
He was 95.
Isn't that weird, though? Like, he resigned and he just lived next door, like always thinking that guy's always looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, I had your job.
Criticizing him.
Yeah. You're not doing it right, but whatever. I was better than you, people like me.
He shouldn't have resigned.
No. He was also in frail health and also old.
Yeah, 95.
Yeah. So, and we're going to break down the rules later. I got a great piece on how we break down the rules, how this actually goes, because it's kind of interesting. And who are the 5 favorites? There are actually 5, because whether you guys want to believe this or not, the world can be degenerate. I know. Not just because of Kanye and his weird stuff with his cousin.
Oh,
which, my God, somebody take the phone away from that guy.
I'm telling you, man. What else? What else is this guy going to do and say?
Next, he'll be selling T-shirts with Nazi memorabilia on it.
Next thing you know, you're going to get swastika stuff. But what is he doing?
Man,
Like-
I mean, isn't he diagnosed bipolar?
Oh, he's diagnosed. He's got to be schizophrenic at this point.
I think he's just in a manic state.
Yeah, because you go and look and you think to yourself, dude, you have kids, right?
Exactly.
Like, even if it's not true, because with you, it's also a 50-50 if it's ever true, because you're wacky. But, and I heard Chris say, he might want to turn himself to a victim because that seems like something he would do. But you have kids who are like, they're going to school every day knowing, A, their dad's Kanye, and B, their dad's crazy and says stuff that's, it's like, at that point in time, don't you think that you would just be like, okay, you guys are going to be homeschooled? There's nothing we can do at this point. Because how horrible is that? Like, your mom's already got famous for one thing. Now your dad, who was famous and seemed to have the world in his, as his oyster, he's gone nuts. And every time he turns around, he goes even crazier. And what he wrote was insane. Like, nobody writes that who's in their right mind.
TMI.
Beyond TMI.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't say, and I helped my cousin kill that guy.
Yeah.
Didn't need to know that, Yee.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. Just craziness. Just crazy. It's a crazy world. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. I've got some great stuff. Did you guys see the twins in their interview in Australia?
Mm-mm.
This may be some of the best audio ever. That is a good release from the crazy, release from the chaos. These twin sisters did an interview in Australia of a carjacking they saw, and it was fascinating. Twins unite.
Are you just teasing us, or are you going to play it for us?
No, I'm going to play it for us. I'm going to break down how this works. So the conclave, we're going to break down who are the favorites, because there are 5 betting favorites out there, and who they are, what they represent. Because the big question now is, which way does the church go? Are they going to go more inclusive, more progressive, or is there a call for them to go back to their, old school roots, a lot more conservative? So we're going to talk about that as well.
Are there actually wagers being placed on?
Yes. On the poly market, there are some people that have already been paid out massive amounts of money for this.
Oh.
So, yes, we'll break down some of the odds. So I've got the 5 favorites, though, according to the bookies, of which I'm not one. All right? So settle down. Even though I do prize picks, we can talk about in a second. That's not our jam. Okay? We do over-under. We're going to talk about the Twins next, a bunch of other stuff straight ahead. Happy Tuesday. It's good to be back. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks is here. The playoffs are ready to rock and roll, as we know. Talking basketball. Now's your chance to, every time you play, you get entered to win a VIP trip for 2 with Prize Picks to the championship of the big playoffs going on right now, which is incredible. You can also win 2,000 times your money. You got tons of great opportunities. And just as a kicker, use my code Chad at Prize Picks. When you download the app, you get $50 bonus immediately when you play your first $5 lineup, which is so easy to do. So let's just say this. Prize Picks, right? You're there. You're like, okay, basketball. I like basketball. Let's see, LeBron James. Do I think he's going to score more than 22.5 points? Yeah, I do. You know what? I like hockey. Do I think Ovechkin's going to score at least more than a half a goal? Yes, I do. You played your first lineup. You can win up to 2,000 times your money. Chance to win VIP tickets to the championship. On top of that, tons of great bonuses and all kinds of things going on. Download the Prize Picks app now. Use my code Chad and get that first $50 bonus the minute you play your first $5 lineup. It is that simple. Prize Picks. Use my code Chad. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537.
All right, drivers, fixing some potholes over in Cheatham County. So you have rolling roadblocks impacting 24 eastbound just past Springfield, Ashland City Highway 49, exit 24. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers today to phase out some more food dye. We'll tell you about it at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So, can I just say, twins, there's always that stories, right? The magicalness of twins, especially identical twins. And these two ladies are identical. And they're in Australia because they're Australian. They're 50 years old. And, well, let's just say they've synced up.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. Two sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck.
By the way, I like Steve Irwin Way. They went right by Crocodile Dundee Lane into Throw a Shrimp on the Barbie Way. Get out of there.
Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum. He went up there and he was coming back down towards us. And he goes, run, he's got a gun. Oh, our heart started to pound. And I said, well, Mum, where's Mum? But apparently our brave Mum, she goes, are you all right? Because he had all blood all over his face. And he goes, I'll shoot you. She goes, hey, I'm here to help.
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran
into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, I'll find you and I'll shoot you. All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire.
Oh, my Lord. How about Mothra? Did you guys bring back Mothra?
That's got to be rehearsed. That has got to be rehearsed.
No. And you know what's weird is the guy's just standing there like, are you guys being for real right now? I only need one of you. You're telling the same damn story. No, Mom. Oh, my Lord. G'day. Australia's fun. Some of you texting in about Pope John Paul. You know what's interesting? Pope John Paul, and you guys will know this because you guys are around my age. You guys are in your 40s. Easily the most popular of all the popes. It's not even close. Pope John Paul was Benedict and, Pope Francis. Benedict he was that middle ground. Francis got very political, but Pope John Paul was something else. He was, to me, I always thought of him as the people's pope, but he was just super, super popular. Nobody said, he got shot, right? He did all the things. Forgave his assassin.
Went to his jail.
And said, hey, look, I'm not mad at you anymore, but you're never getting out of here. Now I have to drive around in a giant egg. We always think that, right? We always think that they're all Italian, and they're not. Although Francis was the first, which I was surprised with, the first first Latin American that they had as a pope. Because it's been a very European thing, because obviously Rome, the Catholics there, the Vatican. And this pope got very political, more so than other popes. And the way that, he took on immigration, the way that he took on, because he's a socialist. Essentially, he was a socialist. And it's nice to know when you're a socialist, you get to live in the Vatican, which, as we all know, is a slum, if you've ever been there. Have you guys ever been there?
Never.
No.
I've been there. It's awesome.
Dirty place, huh?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Not very well kept.
Yeah, it's okay. They're doing okay.
Hard to get a good meal in that place.
Yeah, it's the last I checked, it seems like there's plenty of room for all kinds of people to hang out. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's really weird too, because for those of you guys who don't know, the Vatican's like, think about if in the middle of Nashville we had essentially another little country.
Right.
And that's because that's what it is.
Yeah, it's its own. It's an actual city.
Yeah, it's an actual city. But imagine how it was just an bizarre. It's a weird thing, and they've got all these walls. I like how they always talk about no walls. Not to mention all the other secrets they have there, because they've got a lot of that. And with the UFOs, we know they got some UFOs. We know you guys do, so don't be messing with us. But Pope John Paul, many of you probably agree too. It's bears all around it. That's true. I think they think they're going to get something. Well, everybody's coming here to see the Pope, right? You guys got to be good people, so you're going to be handing stuff out. And you come to find out they're not.
Wonder if there's ever a Pope that was eaten by a bear.
We'll have to find out. I don't know. And what's interesting is when I was talking about how political this Pope was in modern times. If you go back centuries, there was nobody more powerful than the Pope. That guy was all politics. Like he would decide what nation's going to hang out with each other, which is interesting. Coming up, we're going to break down the conclave, not the movie. Oh, we also have some fun movie stuff, Ken. You're going to love this. We got crazy fun movie stuff. And then we're going to break down the top 5 betting favorites, even though none of you would, because none of you are degenerates, of who may be the next Pope. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk, 99.7.
12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, we've got some road blocks due to pothole repair. This is going to be in Cheatham County, 24 eastbound through Pleasant View. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers today to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. The announcement aimed at targeting artificial dyes used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more. The move comes after studies suggest the dyes could be harmful. Here's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
The process to eliminate these substances from foods is a long regulatory process that will likely take years. From the result of today's meeting, we'll likely see outcomes within 2 to 3 years at best.
4 more Democratic Congress members just left El Salvador, where they claimed they were seeking answers about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran arrested in Maryland and deported for being here illegally and alleged ties to the MS-13 gang.
This is about due process. It's about constitutional rights.
That's Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter.
I am not vouching for Abrego Garcia and what he has or hasn't done in his.
Well, here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Star reports it has yet to learn from the FBI why during the Biden administration in 2022, the FBI directed the Highway Patrol to let Garcia and 8 passengers go free, even though Garcia didn't have a valid driver's license and troopers suspected human trafficking. Furthermore, the Tennessee Star says it has learned Garcia had gone 300 miles and more than 7 hours out of his way to stop in St. Louis, Missouri, on his way to Maryland from Texas, as part of Patrick Crusius's sentencing today. Family members of the 23 people he killed during a racist attack inside an El Paso Walmart 6 years ago were allowed to address him directly. The sister-in-law of victim Arturo Benavides spoke through a translator.
I would like to know how you could throw away your life.
Y la nuestra.
And ours, too.
Patrick Crusius could have faced the death penalty, but prosecutors said the process would take years. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
USS. Oh, my Lord. Do you have standing water? Do you have issues with your foundation, right? So maybe your basement walls are having issues. Are you waterproof in places you need to? USS is going to come out and help you. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of stuff that remains unseen. A lot of times underneath there, it might look fine on the outside, but underneath, there may be issues causing things like, mold. You don't want that. Wood rot. All the stuff that goes from something small, if we fix it now, nip it in the bud, it's not going to cost you that much, to all the way something big. And that's where USS comes in. I want you to call them. If you have any issues, any worries, have them come out. They're going to give you a free, absolutely free inspection. 30 years in business, 30,000 happy customers. They're not going to sell you anything unnecessary. Call 615-488-7855 today. And just in case, maybe you've got some visible cracks, but did anything get in there? anything into the floor, the walls, stuff didn't get sealed right, and you just kind of ignored it. Now it could come something bigger. And, oh, my God, that's a lot of money. USS is there to help. Call 615-488-7855 or online at ussTN.com. The other day, we went out Easter night, guys, and we went to our buddy's house. He was having dinner. He invited us over. Hey, come on over. And we're like, yeah, sure, cool. So my wife went to get wine on Easter, and she goes over to the turnip truck over here, and it's all, you can't buy wine on Easter. Now you can get into the other alcohol you want. I'm like, wait a minute. You guys ever read the Bible? He didn't turn it into whiskey.
That was grape juice.
Yeah. So it was just so bizarre that you couldn't get wine. And then the people were telling us, well, there's some places you can get it, and some have to have a certain license to sell on a Sunday. I'm like, ugh, really? Is that it? But alas, we got beer. I don't drink beer, so it doesn't matter. I took my little Sprite-like drink and had that because I'm an adult.
Did you hold your pinky out?
I did not hold my pinky out, sir. So, they're looking for a new pope. I don't know if they have a help wanted ad, something on Indeed.com. Funny would that be? Indeed-o. Well, we kind of know what's going on because there's a movie called Conclave, as we know.
The conclave is secret in the sense that it's taking place behind closed doors, but it's a little different from most things that are secret, whereas your usual secrets are things you want to hide. That's not really what this is about. This is about keeping the cardinals away from external influences. It's not that they're doing anything particularly secret. In fact, what they do is known in general to the whole world.
Well, of course, because there's a movie about it. And speaking of that, let's break down how this thing actually works. Chad Benson Show style.
When a pope passes away or steps down, the eyes of the world turn to the Vatican, and the centuries-old tradition known as the conclave begins. But what exactly is a conclave, and how does it work? The word conclave comes from Latin conclave, meaning with a key. That's because when the cardinals gather to choose the next pope, they're literally locked inside the Sistine Chapel until a decision is made. Step 1. The preparation. After the Pope dies or resigns, the College of Cardinals meet in Rome. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are allowed to vote. That's usually around 120 men. Step 2. The secrecy. They take an oath of secrecy. No phones, no press, no leaks. They're cut off from the outside world, with security sweeping for bugs and signals, and yes, the guards do check for hidden devices. Step 3. The voting. Voting happens inside the Sistine Chapel. Each cardinal writes a name on a paper ballot and walks it up to the altar, placing it inside a special chalice. To elect a new pope, a cardinal needs a 2/3 majority. Step 4. The smoke signals. Here's the part everyone watches for. The smoke. After each vote, ballots are burned. If no pope is chosen, chemicals are added to create black smoke. If a new pope is elected, white smoke rises from the chimney. When does it start? Technically, the conclave can begin 15 to 20 days after a papal vacancy. That gives cardinals time to arrive from around the world. But once voting begins, it usually moves fast. In modern times, it takes 2 to 5 days. Step 5. Habeas papam. When someone finally gets enough votes, he asks if he accepts. If he does, he chooses a papal name, like John Paul or Francis. Then habeas papam. We have a pope. So next time you see the white smoke curling up from the Sistine Chapel, you'll know history is happening and a new chapter for the Catholic Church is about to begin.
All right, so that's how that happens. Now, we move from there to what exactly are they looking for, Pope-wise? Like, what's the job description?
You want to look for someone who has experience running a major diocese. If you're thinking about the capacity to run the church, right? On the other hand, maybe you're looking for someone who's a more prophetic figure, someone who's guided by their life of prayer and their contact with God, right? A man of obvious holiness.
Holiness, all right? So that rules us out, guys, because we are not holy unless you're talking about our genes. So, what are the betting odds and who are the favorites to be the next pope?
Who will be the next pope? With Pope Francis passing away, the world awaits the decision of the College of the Cardinals. So let's look at the top 5 contenders, favored to lead the Catholic Church into its next chapter. Number 5. Cardinal Peter Turkson, Ghana. At 76, Cardinal Turkson is renowned for his advocacy in social justice, economic reform, and environmental issues. As a prominent voice in the church, his leadership could symbolize a significant shift towards the global south. Number 4, Cardinal Peter Erdo, Hungary. At age 72, Cardinal Erdo is a respected theologian, known for his conservative stance and deep understanding of church doctrine. His election would appeal to those seeking a return to traditional values. Number 3, Cardinal Fridolin Obongo Bazungu, Democratic Republic of Congo. At 65, Cardinal Bazungu has been a vocal advocate for peace and social justice in Africa. His leadership could bring a fresh perspective from one of the fastest growing regions of Catholicism. Number 2, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Italy. The 70-year-old Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Parolin is known for his diplomatic acumen and his close association with Pope Francis. His experience positions him as a candidate for continuity and stability. Number 1, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Philippines. At 67, Cardinal Tagle is celebrated for his humility and progressive views. His papacy would mark a historic moment, reflecting the church's growing diversity.
Oh, there we go. Those are the top 5 betting odds. I think it depends. Like, the guy who knows the politics of the place is the dude that's in charge of everything for the last couple popes. Pangolin or whatever his name is. That guy, he is the Pangolin. Yep, we voted in Pangolin. Pangolin, whatever his name is. That guy's good. But he is arguably the one who knows the most about the politics of the Pope, if that makes sense. He has done it. He has run through it. He has been there firsthand. He's been the secretary for a long time. Tagle or whatever, that guy from the Philippines, I think he's got the edge right now. And when you go and you look at the Philippines and several other places, that place is, 80% Catholic? And there's 1.4 billion Catholics on the planet, and the growth amongst in the Southeast Asia has been huge. So I think that is that's probably the top 2. The guy from Ghana has a shot, but I would say those two are kind of the moneymakers. Unless, of course, Father Guido Sarducci. My money's on one of the Peters. The one Peter, the guy from Hungary, that guy's old school. Like, divorced, you're never allowed to get remarried. If you do, you're cheating. Like, it's that kind of, like, that guy is old school. I think he also wants to go back to only Latin services. So, which, doesn't help a lot of people. First of all, how many guys still speak Latin? I mean, it's been a while. My Latin's not very good. Yes, I know that guy sounded like Casey Kasem. I don't know who he is. It's kind of fun, though. You know what, guys? We do things different here, okay? Right? Other people will bore you. Not us. We give it to you straight.
We bring back dead celebrities for you.
This is Casey Kasem. Next. How many times do I have to tell you on the up note? Remember that? If you guys haven't heard Casey's famous...
his rant?
His rant about the never go from an up to a slow. And then the one about the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. That was brutal. Brutal, I say. But those are, that's how that whole thing works. And I was surprised they were talking about how they go in and they sweep with sweepers and everything. That's how, like in that movie Conclave, they're serious about this. They want this thing to be as secretive as possible. Some of these people have never even met, though. That's the other thing they were talking about. Some of these, they've never even met some of these other cardinals. I don't know who they are. We haven't had an American cardinal. How about time for one of those, huh? Huh, guys?
That's clearly anti-immigrant bias right there.
Yeah, that's right. How many? We only have one cardinal here, right? Is it Dolan? Is he the only cardinal in America?
I thought there was a few, like 3.
Is there?
Like one in New York. I think there's one.
That's Dolan.
In St. Petersburg.
Florida, I think.
And then there one in L.A.?
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
That's a good question. If only there was a machine, Bell. If only there was some sort of machine.
You know what? I don't live my life wishing. I just go ahead and move forward.
You know what? The people that are sweeping and making sure nothing gets out, no leaks, they could help out here a little bit with old Pete Hegseth, because that guy seems to have a lot of problems. Okay? He's got issues. Many of you may support him. I got to be honest with you, based on a lot of the stuff that's coming out, if it wasn't for the media pushing so hard, I think Trump would have dumped him by now. I think he would have said, you know what, this can't go on anymore because this is just being run around. Yes, sir.
17 cardinals in the U.S.
17 cardinals?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
Man, 17 cardinals in the U.S. See, I didn't even know that. We don't need white privilege pope. White privilege pope. I think the guy from the Philippines is going to be the leader. I think he's got the outside of all the white privilege popes. I think they've been really looking at this guy, and I think and again, it's what do you do if you're the church? Because a lot of the old school has really gotten upset over the fact that not just, he wanted to be more inclusive. He wanted to be more opening in the church, which if you're going to survive, you've got to do that. I mean, it's, the Catholic Church, besides all the other stuff, which we haven't made fun of, okay, at all today, and trust me, the jokes are out there. I might bring them out in the third hour, but not right now. We'll see how it goes. We might do some crowd work. But the Catholic Church is trying to expand. You've got to, and they look, and a younger generation looks at it as old and stale, and it's full of ritualistic stuff that they're not into. It's a church of no. And they look at it and they say to themselves, I don't want to be a part of that, right? They're exclusive of the LGBTQ plus community. Well, the younger generation isn't. And this Pope was expanding some of that, but it also pissed off a lot of the older generation who are more conservative. And as we know, man, poping ain't easy. It is. We got to get a shirt made. Let us know, people. Would you buy that shirt? Poping ain't easy.
And we can set it up for pre-orders, and we'll just make what people want.
Because I can set that up. We can do it. We'll get it on we'll get it on my Chad Benson Show website. We'll do the Poping ain't easy sweatshirt and T-shirt, hoodie, and all that stuff.
I want a piece of that action.
Of course, man. Poping ain't easy. It's a quote from Bell. It's a quote from Bell.
And Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, Big Daddy Kane. Well, that was Pimpin' Ain't Easy, which is different. Just saying.
Slightly.
It would be interesting to see what exactly the church does. And because I've already got several texts here where they want them to go old school. And are they going to go new school? I'm not talking. I'd like Johnny Thunder, but nobody's going with that one because we found out there is no Saint Johnny Thunder, which there should have been. So coming up, a lot of stuff to get to today. We'll talk a little bit about Harvard and all these schools suing Trump. I mean, Trump is spending more time in the courtroom than he was pre-becoming the president. Talk a little bit about that. We'll probably get to Abrego next hour. It's not like he's going anywhere. It's not very nice, Chad. No. God, the whole going over there, too. God, the ass kissing that some of these people do, you know? I'm in El Salvador, and I'm here to save Abrego. He's just such a good guy. Just stop it. My God, we'll talk about that as well. If you're missing the show, we say, shame on you, grab the podcast. Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame.
We're awful at this. Birch Gold, text the word Benson to 989898 for Birch Gold. They're my gold company. I buy my gold from them. It's an asset. It is expanding. The opportunity to get gold now and still have price to move up is great, but also the opportunity should things go south. And there is that possibility in the market, in the economy. You've got to hedge against inflation and a downturn. That's where gold comes in. An asset that's been around forever. Smart money. We're talking about big-time investors, institutional size investors, banks. They've been flocking to gold for a while now, and the reason is because of uncertainty. Why don't you find out what Birch can do for you when it comes to gold and why it's a great asset to have as part of a diversified portfolio of all kinds of stuff? Text the word Benson now to 989898 today. That's Benson to 989898. They're going to send you out an info kit from Birch, talk about how you can move over your IRA or 401k. Text the word Benson now to 9898 for Birch Gold.
Secretary of Health RFK Jr. today expected to announce 8 more dyes he wants out of our food supply. 4 more Democratic members of Congress went to El Salvador. And after several layoff announcements, Rutherford County just got some better news. Details at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It wouldn't be a day if I didn't bring Ken some of his favorite things. Crazy people on the internet.
Yes, sir.
Day 5, no food. And nobody has sent me $1. I've lost my food stamps. I've lost my cash benefits. Section 8 is on hold. My disability checks are on hold. I have almost 200,000 followers, and I can't get one person to send me 50 cents. One person. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to support me and my children. So if you are watching this and you don't send me something, you're going to get blocked.
Uh-oh. You're not going to get blocked from her. Did you guys know it was your responsibility and mine to pay for her stuff?
Yeah, of course.
I just wanted to know. I mean, you know, that's, I don't know. Maybe there's some more here.
Good
because
work,
what
you
is
can
the
get it.
point of even having a TikTok account if your followers can't help you out during the hard times? It is not my responsibility to feed these kids. It's the taxpayers. So until I get my food stamps back, I need everybody to pitch in teamwork and send me something to eat.
I'm going to say no.
By the way, if you do happen to take a peek at her, how should I put this? You better.
She's unattractive.
You better take out a second.
Oh, she's going to need that much?
And I think that it's not that her kids haven't eaten. It's just that she hasn't let her kids eat.
She keeps eating it.
It's not very nice, Chad. How about some more?
If one more person tells me to get a job, I am going to scream. I am not getting a job.
Get a job.
Stop telling me to get a job.
Get a job.
Just because you have to work doesn't mean I have to work.
Get a job.
I get EBT. I have a working husband. I do not need a job. If I wanted to work, I would work, but I don't want to. So I'm not going to. And you telling me to get a job is not going to change that.
You guys hear that? She ain't getting a job. Although she does have she has some advice for us.
So how about you go get a second job and give me the money from that job, and we'll pretend like I made that money.
Ooh, I got a better idea. How about we don't?
Oh. So is she hot?
No. Here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna explain
Ladies, you
this
can
to
only get away with this when you're hot.
If you're smoking hot and you say, I need money, people, guys, because we are weak, we will come to the aid. Oh, my God, a wounded deer. Let us help. If you're $4 and missing teeth, you ain't getting nothing. Not a thing.
Oh, how many followers does she have, man?
Well, that Biggin girl, she has like 200,000 followers. You know why? Because people turn into you because you're a mess.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's like watching, like it's every day you go, oh, hey, there's a train crash. You're like, I got to go see it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. She's as big as a train. But if you're like 22 and you're smoking hot and you're like, I'm so struggling and I need money, you're like, all right, I'll give you money.
OnlyFans.
Yeah. I'll give you money. What would you like? Your $4? Sorry. I don't care how cute you think your kids are. You ain't getting nothing.
Oh, yes.
Just honesty, kids. That's what we throw you here. Coming up, hour number 2 of the program. Good stuff ahead. We'll talk a little Abrego. Still in jail, and there are several people that have gone down there to apparently try to get him out. Swing and a miss, bada.
More virtue signaling.
Stop embarrassing yourself. They can't help themselves. They're fawning over themselves to get down there. We'll talk a little bit about that. Bunch of other stuff to get to, including today is Earth Day. Climate change. We got some interesting pieces we're going to play you from our good buddy John Stossel about climate change on Earth Day. And Greta, of course, Thunberg. How dare you? I know who you are.
How dare you?
We ruined her childhood. It's a shame. It's the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
1 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. And Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. today expected to call on food manufacturers to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. The announcement aimed at targeting artificial dyes used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more. It comes after studies suggest the dyes could be harmful. Here's ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula with what you can do as a consumer to steer clear of those dyes.
You can read the labels, right, and look for anything that says dye number something. You can buy organic. You can use whole foods. A lot of this is really more in those ultra-processed or processed foods. And there are brands that specialize in no dyes.
4 more Democratic members of Congress are on their way back from El Salvador, where they claim they were trying to get answers about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran man arrested in Maryland, then deported for being here illegally and alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. One of those 4 Democratic members of Congress is Oregon's Maxine Dexter.
This is one man and family's nightmare, but it could be anyone's. Constitutional rights to due process are inclusive throughout the country, no matter status.
Well, here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Star reports it has yet to learn from the FBI why during the Biden administration in 2022, the FBI directed the Tennessee Highway Patrol during a traffic stop to let Garcia and his 8 passengers go free, even though Garcia didn't have a valid driver's license and troopers suspected human trafficking. Furthermore, the Tennessee Star says it has learned Garcia, on his way from Texas to Maryland, had gone 300 miles and more than 7 hours out of his way for a stop in St. Louis. After several layoffs announced in Rutherford County here in Middle Tennessee, there's some good news about jobs there. After announcing job cuts in January, Nissan says it's reversing course, and instead of cutting jobs at the plant in Smyrna, they're going to ramp up production. News 2 says it was told by a spokesperson for the company. It's not clear when or how many jobs could come with this new expansion. And state lawmakers could take up a ban on Glock switches in Tennessee today. Channel 4's Amanda Harris says the House passed it yesterday.
The bill expands the definition of a machine gun and increases the penalty for having one. It also makes ammo possession during a violent crime illegal and bans probation for aggravated assault, including shooting from a car.
The corruption trial of former Tennessee Speaker Glenn Cassida and his Chief of Staff Cade Cothran starts today. They face 20 federal bribery, wire fraud, and money laundering charges. Cothran accused of creating a fake company. Cassida accused of helping to give it state contracts, making the pair tens of thousands of dollars allegedly. Both could face up to 20 years in prison if they're found guilty. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Today happens to be...
You might have forgotten about this in the face of all the news swirling around, but today is Earth Day. What can stem the tide of what environmental advocates call a nascent climate catastrophe?
Not a climate catastrophe. I want you guys to do something with me. I want you guys to get in the Wayback Machine with me. Oh, come on, we can all do it. There we go. We're getting in the Wayback Machine. We're going to go about 2019. So a young girl in Sweden gets into a boat. And she heads over here because she's not going to pollute the earth at all. Like, she's in a dinghy. She's coming to America. She's going to the UN to deliver a heartfelt speech of kindness. There's no blame here, or is there?
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope.
Nope.
How dare you?
Nope.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Well, we did. We dared you. What do you think of that?
How dare you?
Yeah, whatever. Listen here, little girl. Shush.
Can we just please go ahead and change her name to Karen?
I know.
Children should be seen, not heard.
And now what's her new thing? She's on to Palestine. You know what she says? She looks at Israel and says,
how dare you?
And Israel's like, shut up. As you do. So how bad is it? Is it the worst ever? Is this it? Is the world coming to an end? I've been hearing about this for years. AOC came on the scene, told us I only had a few years left. All of us did. We were done. We were done for. The world's over.
Didn't she tell us we had 12 years, like 7 years ago?
Based on her scientific best guesstimate of how you mix this and mix that.
Well, I take all my scientific cues from a woman who doesn't know what a garbage disposal is.
No, you should. You should. You absolutely should. She knows exactly mostly what she's talking about. But is that true?
The era of global warming has ended. The era of global boiling has arrived.
Global boiling? The world's doomed, I'm told.
We're in the 6th mass extinction right now.
I only wish someone could have warned us about this apart from every scientist for the last 50 years.
Every scientist agrees. But here's the thing. They don't. Well, yes, they agree that the climate's warming. Climate changes. But scientists don't agree on the catastrophic claims activists and the media make.
Icebergs are melting, the coral reefs are dying, and no one is helping.
If we don't stop the sea level rising, millions of people will be in danger.
Oh, my God. Is it over? Am I finally going to have an oceanfront property in Arizona? Because I have a house there. I'm just letting you guys know. I mean, you know, I keep looking at stuff, right? I go back and look at maps from a long time ago, and lo and behold, that shoreline still seems to be the same shoreline that has been there forever. Shh.
Not supposed to tell people that.
Continue.
The Great Polar Ice Sheet.
Not the Great Polar Ice Sheets.
Which are melting faster than many scientists had anticipated.
If global warming continues at the present rate, then the Arctic could already be ice-free by the summer of 2030.
That's myth one. The Arctic will soon be ice-free.
We don't have decades. We hardly have years.
These glaciers are on the brink, some already past the point of no return.
If the entire Greenland ice sheet was lost, sea levels would increase by 7 meters.
That's 22 feet. At just 6 feet, one storm surge could leave London underwater, says this BBC documentary. This could happen this century, they say. But is the ice really melting that fast? No.
As we exit ice ages, you should expect some ice melt, but it's not happening at nearly the catastrophic pace that they claim.
Well, you know what? Just because you're a smarty and you actually look at facts and data, I don't want to hear anything from you, first of all, young lady, as if ladies are allowed to do science and math and such.
Who is this woman? Why is she getting in the way of me hearing more Greta?
Well, let me tell you something. Apparently, she's got a degree and she's kind of a smart person.
Heartland Research Fellow Linnea Lucan researches environmental threats. She points out that studies in Arctic sea ice don't show a catastrophic decline, although ice has melted.
It's really leveled off in recent years. A lot of the time when you are looking at these very alarming images, it seems like where'd all the ice go? There's no ice. There's all these walruses laying out on a stony beach. They should be on big icebergs. Well, it's because it's the summertime. And in the winter, it all comes right back to where it was before.
All of it?
In recent years, yeah, all of it.
I don't buy it. Again, a lie. Just because there's ice and just because stuff's still alive doesn't mean I should believe anything you have to say. I believe Al Gore, right after he invented the internet, came up with this, and he's done a hell of a job. That's all I'm telling you.
For the past 20 years, it's been largely stable. And anyway, this is just sea ice, ice in the water, not the total amount of ice in the Arctic. Almost all the Arctic's ice is on land. And this is the trend line for that ice. You can barely see any decline.
Compared to the amount of ice that's in the Arctic, it is like a grain of sand on the beach. It is so minuscule compared to the amount of ice that's there that it doesn't even show up on a trend chart when you plot it.
It's so frustrating. Media keep interviewing experts who claim
we still see an ice-free Arctic by the middle of the century.
Zealots have predicted doom for years.
There is a 75% chance that the entire North Polar ice cap during some of the summer months could be completely ice-free within the next 5 to 7 years.
Well, those years have long passed. Nobody calls him on it.
They absolutely should be calling him on it. A lot of these kinds of claims are based on what computer models are projecting.
And they pick the ones that are alarmist.
Oh, absolutely. Well, those are the ones that generate headlines, right?
That's what you want. If you ever gone to, we went out the other night, Belle and I went to a Mexican restaurant. Belle, of course, was like, give me fajitas. Because that's what, and he commanded it like that. Well, if you've ever gone to a Mexican restaurant and somebody goes walking through the room and and the smoke's coming up, everybody turns and looks. You sell the steak. You sell the sizzle, not the steak or the chicken. And that's what this stuff does.
And I got both. I got steak and chicken.
Yeah. And there was all kinds of sizzle going on because that's how he rolls. This is a industry. Look, this is our home. We need to do better. We need to keep it cleaner, right? What's the old saying? You don't or you eat. And we need to do a much better job. But this is about global control for a lot of people. This is about telling the West, hey, guys, pay all of these poor countries stuff because we've robbed them, which we have at times, and they're still struggling. Give them a bunch of crap, money, so they can go off and do their own thing. And you guys can, get some of that white guilt off your back for being successful. And that's a lot of what this is. This is a business.
Here's another myth that generates headlines.
Arctic polar bears are facing near extinction by the end of the century.
Imagine your family disappearing. It's happening to polar bears right now.
I got to go find it. Are they getting Diet Cokes? Because I know.
Shenanigans!
Exactly. I know polar bears like Diet Cokes, and I know they get a lot of them, especially at Christmas time.
That's myth 2. Polar bears are going extinct.
This is the worst one. Polar bears have increased their populations.
Environmental groups ignore that increase to sucker you into giving them more of your money.
Don't give up on polar bears. Don't give up on threatened species. Your support can help Environmental Defense Fund save the polar bears.
These environmental groups are really being sleazy.
Absolutely, because the data is right there. It's not hard to find out that polar bears are fine. Finding some sick polar bear out there to take a picture of does not indicate the health of the species.
So polar bears aren't going extinct, but I'm told we might.
Oh, man. So did you guys, I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I was good working with you guys. I didn't know we were going to go extinct.
Yeah, you didn't get the memo?
I didn't.
You got to pay attention to
They should have put that in an email somewhere. I'm telling you guys that right now.
We sent an email out.
It's a shame.
I bet you the polar bears will be happy about that.
Well, yeah, they can go eat our dead bodies. That's what they like to do. And they'll chase it down with a Diet Coke.
The UN is warning of mass extinctions and food shortages within this century if global warming continues.
Climate change could create a massive global food shortage.
That's myth 3.
Our changing climate is already making it more difficult to produce food.
There is no claim less true.
Agricultural output keeps setting record highs.
Food production has skyrocketed, even amid the modest warming of the past 100+ years.
Extra carbon dioxide is good for food production.
Well, we inject CO2 into greenhouses for a reason. It's because it helps to fertilize plants for faster and better growth. And NASA data show that the Earth has significantly greened over the past couple of decades. And that NASA even attributes to increased carbon dioxide fertilization.
As the climate has warmed, the world experienced the biggest drop in hunger and malnutrition ever. But climate activists don't tell people that.
No, because it's not in their best interest. It's your business. My business would be scaring people and getting them to do what? To buy whatever crap I'm selling them or donate to whatever thing I'm doing or win grants, research grants. That's what it's all about. Again, we need to treat the environment much better. I don't want to go to polluted areas. I don't want the frogs turning gay, right? I don't need the pollution. I don't want plastics all over. But to say that we are but a tiny speck on this planet. If and when Mother Earth decides she's had enough of us, she gonna kick us to the curb.
The United Nations says Madagascar is on the verge of experiencing the world's first climate crisis famine.
Climate crisis famine? No. Madagascar's problems are mostly caused by bad governance, corruption, cronyism, not climate change. But whenever there's a food shortage, or even when prices rise, the media blame climate change.
Food shortages driven by the effects of climate change. We're going to see starvation and famine on multiple continents at the same time.
When coffee prices rose, the New York Times blamed devastation that climate change wrought. But since the 1990s, global coffee production has increased by 82%. The Times focused on a brief decline in Honduras. But even there, coffee production since 1990 is up more than 200%.
It does not mean that there is a long-term climate issue if you have one bad year.
But the New York Times acts like it does.
It absolutely does not. And they get egg on their face when you look at the historic data and you see they've been setting records for coffee production.
But they never apologize. They never say, oh, we got this wrong.
No, and even if they did have a retraction, the damage is already done. The false report already went out.
And that's all that matters. It is. Because they're playing to the audience out there that they want to play to. They believe that the world's coming to an end and it can't be fixed. Yet every time something, it's like that preacher in New York, in Times Square, who used to put up the billboard saying that the earth is coming to an end in this date because of the math in the Bible. And every year he would fail. And every year he'd have followers. And every year he'd put a billboard up saying, well, I got the math wrong, but I got it right this time. No. We need to treat the earth better, of course. That being said, when I was a kid growing up, it was the Ice Age. 1974, cover of Time magazine, it's a new Ice Age. Guess what? Now it's hotter. How long will Ice Age last? I thought they lasted a lot longer than, say, 40 years. But apparently that's not true. 50? Maybe a little longer than that. Yeah, this is a business. And for the last several years, business has been booming. And it shouldn't be about either or. We should be able to take care of the planet. Look for better ways to power our vehicles, power our homes that aren't going to destroy and take so much from Mother Earth, which we can do. But at the same time, this insanity of the world's coming to an end or else we have to change everything is ridiculous. Is absolutely ridiculous. And the Paris Climate Accords were a joke if you've read through them. They were. A lot of stuff still to get to here on the Benson Show, including, yes, we're going to talk a bit about Abrego. Still in El Salvador. Talk a bit about that. We got some more on this, too, including the Great Barrier Reef, which apparently has disappeared except for the part where it's growing. That's how that works. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. TakeLean.com. Use code Benson20. Save yourself 20% right there. Now, what is lean? Lean is awesome. It has been formulated by doctors and science, and it's about getting you off the yo-yo diet. All of us have been on the yo-yo diet. We put on some weight over the years, right? Sneaks up on us, doesn't come overnight, and all of a sudden we're like, well, I got to lose some weight. Then you lose that weight, and then you put it on with 5. Oh, good God. Then it's back down again. Then it's up again. Get off the yo-yo dieting. Lean's formulated in such a way that it works on 3 things that are big. First, it's about your blood sugar. Let's maintain that. Lean does that. Second, it's about fighting the cravings, the food noise. Lean does that for you. And then it's about taking the fat, burning it, turning it into energy. Lean does that for you. Get off the yo-yo diet. Get with Lean. Go to takelean.com. Use code Benson20. Save yourself 20% on that first month. Takelean.com. Code Benson20.
All ears and eyes on Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. and what he's expected to say today about the use of dyes in our food supply. That's coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The Defense Secretary plays down the significance of the second reported signal chat in which he shared details of last month's Yemen strike with his wife, his brother, and his attorney.
Informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination and other things. That's what I've said from the beginning.
On Fox News, Pete Hegseth was asked about the men in his inner circle who've been ousted.
Disgruntled former employees are peddling things to try to save their ass.
But those men insist they were loyal to Hegseth and did not share information with reporters.
I got to be honest, the more that Pete's out there, the more I'm starting to think, man, what a clown. Maybe you guys like him, maybe you don't, I don't know. Let's just say he's not acquitted himself well. And that is evident. And if it wasn't for the fact that the media's pushing continually of things like this, I think Donald Trump would have by now said, I've had enough of you. But because it is the battle of Trump and everything that Trump does, he wants to push back on. But more and more people are saying, look, we've had enough, dude. You're not good at this. And by the way, Unclassified or not, don't be sharing plans with your pals. All right, can we all agree maybe not the sharpest thing to do?
Congressman Bacon is the first sitting Republican to publicly criticize Hegseth, suggesting President Trump should fire the defense secretary. As for the leak investigation, these are not random top aides who were fired. They are senior advisors Hegseth himself brought into the Pentagon.
Which does two things. Either one of you is lying, or this guy's got bad judgment. I thought I could trust you. Obviously, I can't. But you hired me. Yes, but no, because people are frustrated. I don't think he's got a good handle of stuff. And the continuous, there's always a story about this guy. Is all of it true? Probably not. But this story has a lot more weight to it. And I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the continuing fight between Trump and the media, Trump is not going to take a step back. And take a, and say, all right, you guys can have this one. He's not. That's not who he is. Pete's best defense right now is the media continuing to clamor on him. If the media wasn't all about Trump 24/7 and the chaos that reigns with Trump, he would have probably got rid of him a while ago. Trump goes through people so fast. Two things happen when you work for him. It is a fly by the seat of your pants. It is. I've always said this, and I've been very straightforward for a very long time. There is a sell-by date working for Trump. Working in the White House across the board, there's always kind of a sell-by date. It's exhausting. It's a lot of hours. But with Trump, it's extra because it is 24/7. And you never know what the next thing's going to bring. And everything, because of the way the media handles it, is hair on fire. So him continuing to push against the reporters helps because they look and they think to themselves, hey, we can get this guy gone. That's the way that Trump's thinking. They want me to get rid of him to show me that they can do that. But, man, he goes through people fast. And because, you know what? You hire slow, fire quick. Trump hires quick, and depending on where they are in the situation, he fires usually quick too. But this is... Not everything is deep state. Not everybody who works for Trump is brilliant. Some of them are just loyal. And this guy is, I'm sure Pete's a good guy, but, this situation seems to be... Two things happen here. Either he's a bad manager and hires bad people, or maybe this might be a little bit too much for him. We're going to see. We're going to see in the future. Meanwhile, we're going to get to the Abrego thing. This is the governor of California talking a bit about Mr. Abrego and how everybody's taking their eye off the prize because the Democrats, as usual, are running to the worst situation they can run to.
This is the distraction of the day, the art of distraction. It's a tough case. Because people are they defending MS-13? Are they defending, someone who's out of sight, out of mind in El Salvador? It's exactly the debate they want, because they don't want this debate on the tariffs. They don't want to be accountable to the markets today. They want to have this conversation. Don't get distracted by distractions.
Don't get distracted by distractions. And it's a win for Trump. Right now, the economy, there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of nervousness out there. People worried about making ends meet, worried where the economy is going to go. And what are the Democrats doing? They're running out there defending a guy that, you know what, they don't know a lot about. They don't. And what they do know, now they're trying to shift the conversation about, well, it's not whether or not he's part of a gang or whether or not he's part of this. It's the due process, which is fine. We could talk about due process, but you take away from the thing that the average person is thinking about. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Got some of your text messages coming up as well. This here be the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers today to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. The announcement aimed at targeting artificial dyes used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more. It comes after studies suggest the dyes could be harmful. Here's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
There are some studies that show with animal products, for example, animal studies that show that these dyes can be associated with cancer. But the FDA maintains we have not seen these associations within humans. But it's important to note that there are other studies that show that there might be increased risk to children.
Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter is among 4 Democratic members of Congress who just left El Salvador, where they say they were on a quest for answers about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran man arrested in Maryland and deported last month for being here illegally and alleged ties to the MS-13 gang.
The most important thing that this trip accomplished is keeping this story and the constitutional crisis. It really illustrates front and center. This is one man and family's nightmare, but it could be anyone's.
Meanwhile, here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Star says it is still seeking answers to why in 2022 the Biden FBI told the Tennessee Highway Patrol to let Garcia, who didn't have a valid driver's license, and 8 of his passengers go free from a 2-hour traffic stop that raised suspicion of human trafficking. The Tennessee Star says it has also learned that Garcia, inexplicably, added more than 300 miles and 7 hours of driving to that trip from Texas to Maryland by stopping in St. Louis. And as the church mourns the passing of Pope Francis, the process begins to choose his successor. All cardinals eligible to participate in the conclave will be summoned to Rome. Of 252 cardinals, 135 are eligible, making this the largest and most diverse conclave on record. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Retirement Ready Toolkit from Beacon is ready for you. Not going to cost you anything. All you have to do is make a phone call at 615-488-9303. They'll get you out the Retirement Ready Toolkit to talk about the things they can do to help you with retirement. The beauty of Beacon is not only are they local, but it's an all-encompassing thing. Because when you retire, you still have to worry about things like health care, estate planning, taxes, which is past tax day. Let Beacon help you with that. That's the beauty of what they do, on top of the fact that, yes, your numbers do matter as well, your monies, your investments. So why don't you do this? Call them today, 615-488-9303. Get yourself a free Retirement Ready Toolkit. You're going to get a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. Absolutely free, not going to cost anything but a little bit of time. Call Beacon today at 615-488-9303 or online at askbeaconnow.com. I love some of the text messages we get because I don't agree. I think Pete's in over his head. I got several people say, you know what? I think he is too. I think he came in with a lot of bluster, no substance. Somebody just wrote. 2, it's all liberal lies, and you probably think he's a rapist and a drunk. What? How did we get to that?
What the hell does one thing have to do with the other?
That's exactly it. No, I don't think he's any of those things. But I think right now he's a bit in over his head, and I think he got caught out, and I think he hired some people, and some stuff got out there that is embarrassing. And let's be honest, for just a second, for those of you out there who are defending him, if this was Joe Biden and his cat running everything, the Pentagon cat, the chief, the dude, the leader, the man, the myth, whoever it is, and this got out, how would you feel? What would you be saying? I didn't say he was a bad guy. I just think at this point in time, he's got himself some issues. And everybody's like, how do you know? It's his guys who he hired. And they're blaming it all on, he's blaming it all on them or all this. It's, again, this is a him issue. This has nothing to do with Trump. This is a Pete Hegseth issue. And it doesn't look good. Why can't people just admit, yeah, this one's not working the way we want? This isn't going the way we thought it was going to go. He may be in over his head. He may have come in and not only ruffled feathers, but ruffled feathers in such a way that he did it for the sake of doing it, not for like, he came in to throw down the gauntlet rather than say, we're going to clean this place up. And I feel like he's rumbling, stumbling, and bumbling. But this has nothing to do with, he's a rapist. Never said that. Never said it. Not once. Abrego. You know that cat? Somebody just sent me, maybe I'll post it if you guys want me to. I showed you can go online and you can make your own like bobblehead or your little action figure.
Where do you do that?
You can go to ChatGPT and type it in. So type in.
And they'll make you a real bobblehead?
They'll make it so the whole thing like I've shown you. So this one was in a Maryland dad and it says, it's got like MS-13 tattoos stuff all over it. But yes, he's still in the new. I thought being gone for 4 days, this had quieted down. Every time I turn around, there's somebody new from Maryland going down there.
Happening now, 4 House Democrats have just returned from El Salvador after seeking the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They were denied a meeting with the Maryland father who was deported to his home country in what the Trump administration has called, and I'm quoting now, an administrative error. Those lawmakers are joining us right now. Congresswoman Maxine Dexter of Oregon and Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari of Arizona and Congressman Robert Garcia of California and Congressman Maxwell Frost of Florida. Congressman Frost, why did you feel it was important to travel to El Salvador now?
Well, the main thing is that in this country, everybody is entitled to due process. And we see that in this case, but in many cases, these folks were not afforded due process.
And that is, those 2 words right there are the words that this debate is about. Due process. Did this guy have due process? For many of you are going to be texting me in a minute telling me he doesn't deserve anything. He's here illegally, blah, 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 blah. Due process doesn't, no. Whether you like it or not, there was a sense of due process for anybody, even who's here illegally. They don't have all of the same rights, but due process is one of them.
Government is impeded by due process intentionally. It's not about whether or not this is a good guy, whether or not he should be kicked out of the country. It's about whether or not we should let government simply have the authority to grab someone off the street and heave them.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. It's
not about the guy. It's about the government.
Yeah. And this is where the Democrats have gone wrong. They have made it about the guy in this case and not about the government. And that's what you should be worried about because the Republicans are not always going to be in charge. At some point in time, things may switch back. And then what would happen if we set a standard here? Because both sides are always looking to, well, if that's what you're going to do, wait till you see what we do.
The problem is the Supreme Court has handed down a decision to the Trump administration saying they must facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia. And now they've decided to completely defy that Supreme Court ruling. And so we are in a constitutional crisis right now. And as representatives, we all have constituents that have been reaching out to us by the hundreds saying, do something about this. Make sure people don't forget about this. Not only does he need to come home, but we need to we need to ensure that we draw the line here because we don't want it to escalate any further. This is the same president that in the Oval Office recently said the next people he wants to send to El Salvador are quote unquote homegrowns. Talking about U.S. citizens. And so we have to do everything we can right now. We went over there to try our best to see him, to make sure he's okay. But again, it's not just about him. It's about the broader issue as well.
Now and for me, right, I look at this thing in a different way than a lot of people out there. Measure 3 times. How many times is that? Measure twice, cut once. You end these arguments when you do it right. You don't give people these arguments that they're going to run with, that you're spending half your time, which right now, with tariffs and people worried about stuff, isn't the worst thing. But you want to make sure that you put this out there in such a way where there is no way for people to come after you. There is no way for people to say, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. I'm telling you, he should have been gone. It was easy. You put in front of the judge, hey, we can't send him to El Salvador, but this place will take him. And before I went on break last week, Ken and I were talking about it. We're still curious as to why he's in jail there. Breaking a law, a deportation law over here. I don't know if he's been in, did he break any laws over there?
The only thing it seems like I saw something where in El Salvador now, it is against the law to be a gang member.
Was he a gang member there? I don't know.
That's what is still up in the air.
Yes.
That's still alleged.
Yeah. But, is this going to be for everybody? Well, here's the thing. What about those guys from Venezuela? They weren't gang members in El Salvador.
No, they were in Venezuela.
So that's the question. Could you imagine this? Let's say, as I said last week, so we got a Brit, right? His name is Liam. We got Liam and we caught him, right? He was married to a bird, right? Got her pregnant. They got a couple kids. But he's here illegally. He was part of a gang. And they send him back to Britain. He doesn't get off the plane, and they just take him to Broadmoor, which is like the crazy loony bin, the worst of the worst prison. They don't do that. So I'm curious about some of these things, and we should all be curious.
Yeah, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, it is illegal to have membership or association with a gang in El Salvador, and that carries a prison sentence of up to 6 years.
Okay.
So that's according to the U.S. Department of Justice in El Salvador.
The U.S. Department of Justice in El Salvador. There's a lot of moving parts here.
Yes, there is.
So, and I'm not disputing he's a gang member. I think he may not be one now. I think he was at one point in time a gang member. But that being said, he did some stuff here that was very questionable that I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened. Because as we all know, the stories start to fly around. You're not sure what to believe. Somebody puts a little mustard on a story here. Maybe that's not true. But he still had to go, right? You're not supposed to be here. Even if you weren't a gang member, you were caught. You're not supposed to be here. There's already an order to remove. We just have to find a place for you to go. But it's the battle is the due process battle. That's what everybody's talking. It's about due process,
This is about due process. It's about constitutional rights. I am not vouching for Abrego Garcia and what he has or hasn't done in his past. That is not something I know. What I know is that he has lost his access to due process. It was never given to him.
Well, no, it was given to him on numerous occasions. The issue here isn't that he was deported. It's where he was deported. Because that was part of the ruling was he wasn't supposed to go back to El Salvador. That's where he was shielded from. Now, you could have sent him to Honduras or Guatemala, but you have to have countries that'll take you. That has to be part of the deal. But the Democrats are bending over backwards to do all they can to make this guy, some sort of magical, like he's just a guy that's no, he's not. He's not supposed to be here. None of that is being debated. And for those of you who are mad about due process, you were also mad when the January 6 people you felt didn't get due process the way you wanted it to. Everybody we've got to do the right thing. And the reason is because we don't want to be that group of people. We don't want to be the thing that we say, hey, we're going to fight the monsters, and then we become that monster. No, we do it right. That's what it's about. Now, they're going to lie to you and tell you it could be anyone, right? They're coming after you. They could snatch Belle off the street tomorrow. Belle's got tattoos. I don't. Belle does. They could snatch him tomorrow and say, look at this guy, right? He's obviously a headbanger, probably a 1%er.
I think percentage-wise, you've got more than I do.
Probably, but mine are all good. Mostly Disney characters.
This is one man and family's nightmare, but it could be anyone's. Constitutional rights to due process are inclusive throughout the country, no matter status. And so we were there to make sure that people understand the threat to Abrego Garcia is a threat to everyone in this country.
No, actually, it's not. I'm not worried about whether or not Belle or you or me are going to get snatched off the street. And once you go through the system, that's it. And if you're on the left and you're bitching about due process or there's paperwork mess up, yeah, he's El Salvadorian, and maybe he shouldn't have been put in El Salvador based on what the judge says here. But that being said, he had no right to be here once he got popped. That was it. Take away, even if he wasn't an MS-13 member or any gang member whatsoever, he still had no right to be in this country. He came here illegally. That's why, though, you cross the T's, you dot the I's, and you don't have people questioning over and over again this stuff. And as much as you may hate it that they've got due process, and a lot of you out there do, this is a bigger picture. This has always been my argument with this. The guy himself, man, I hope he got out of the gangs. I hope he's living his life better. Hope he loves Jesus, all that stuff. But this is about due process. And I know you don't like due process in situations. You want to be able to round everybody up and get rid of everybody. There has to be process that's done correctly. Because when you do it correctly, not only do you get them going, but also you make a little notation mark for when they come back or try to, because you know they will, that they can't come back in the country for X amount of years, depending on what country they're from. Some of it's 5 years before you can apply. Some of it's 10 years. Some of it, depending on how many times you've done it, may be forever. Interesting. We'll have some of your angry texts coming up. There's plenty of them. You're a jerk. I hate you. Somebody called us a-holes.
I've told my mother to quit texting in. She just won't stop.
I know. I can't believe that she, of all people, would text like that, especially after her Easter weekend. Bunch of other stuff coming up, too. It is the Chad Benson Show at Super Talk 99.7. Are you ready for what's going on in the market? Are you positioned in a way that even if the market moves down, you're still fine? You might be making some money. My friends over at Bulwark want to help you with that. Let me tell you why. It's important to understand how all of the market works. Cookie cutter solutions, what so many people offer you out there, Bulwark does a lot more than that. Risk management, number one strategy with Bulwark. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility with the most upside potential. And Bulwark delivers that time and time again. They want to do something for you, give you a free risk review. Go through your portfolio, show you the things that they can do for you, what's going on in your portfolio, and show you how to get to where you want to go, not the cookie cutter solution. Get your free second opinion with Bulwark. It's not going to cost you anything but a little bit of time. 866-779-RISK, 866-779-RISK, or go to knowyourriskradio.com, K-N-O-W, yourriskradio.com for Bulwark Capital. Investment advisor served off the Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee future results. Trek 24173. Wellness Institute of Nashville. Don't worry about that back problem you have because the Wellness Institute of Nashville can fix it for you. That's right. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, right now, in honor of the 47th president, they got the big 47 going on. 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. So for many of you out there, you guys know you've had back pain for years, your knees have hurt, and you think, oh, I've tried this or tried that. I've just given up because I've got to have surgery. Not with our good friends over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Go see them. What they're going to do is they're going to give you a full consultation. They bring you in, x-rays. They're going to break down what's going on with your back and show you how they can get you up, moving, and feeling better than you have in years. Bring your MRI if you have it. Sit down, let them make a plan for you, and see what happens. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or online at painisbad.com.
The Trump administration announcing an end to student loan bailouts. This story and more at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Are you kidding me? The kids got to pay their student loans back?
Got to pay it off.
Oh, for the love of God.
Next, somebody's going to tell me I'm supposed to pay off my credit card.
That's just silly. What you talking about? That is when you can forgive debts like that, when you can do that, that is when democracy and our republic is done. Because what's next, right? Like, hey, if you got a house payment, don't have to make it. Vote for me. I'll take it all away for you. Crazy. Now, school's a racket. We understand that. I think what's going on in colleges and the amount of money that colleges cost is mind-blowing. Where else would you go? Hey, spend $300,000 so you can get a $60,000 a year job. That's not good business.
Well, so much of that has just been has occurred because of government subsidies. Everybody raises prices because they want to get a bigger slice of the subsidy pie.
Yeah, well, if you're going to guarantee a loan, these kids just want to go to school. These young adults want to go to school. So you're going to guarantee my loan? Then I'll charge whatever I want. And that's what happens. But now you got to pay him back. I know it sucks. We were hoping you didn't. But alas, you have to. Hey, Ken, what time is the Health and Human Services guy giving his speech?
I've looked all over for it, man. I can't find it. Can't find when it's going to be.
No, he's going to get rid of those dyes. You know what's hilarious is, and this was, who was I watching the other day talking about this, which I found to be fascinating. Just the disdain for the Trump administration. It was the New York Times talking about him getting rid of fluoride in the water. And they did this big piece, this op-ed about how that's a horrible idea, blah, blah, blah. And in the same day, in the same paper, how fluoride is bad for you was another piece. It's just Trump. Anything associated with Trump. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have some wacky ideas. I got to be honest with you. If your buddy came up to you today and said, hey, I picked up a dead bear, it's in the back of my car, want to go drop it off somewhere? You'd probably think, dude, that's a little weird. I got a worm in my brain. Seems a little odd. But remember that?
Yes.
Don't tell people that. Oh. That being said, I don't mind getting rid of some of these dyes. You know, like even the meat you buy, they put dye in that stuff to make it look better. Because they don't want that gray meat because it doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
Yeah, I don't know about gray meat.
And somebody said earlier, why is it that it will take 3 years to get off these dyes? Well, you've got to give people time to switch over to certain things, try to develop new things. Plus, with tariffs, with some of the other things that are going on, people may not be in a position to switch everything over, money-wise, immediately. And so it is going to, you have to give people a ramp-up time. Does 3 years seem a little long? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how these things work.
Everybody on text line saying his speech is at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. our time or Eastern?
Probably Eastern.
Okay. That's what I thought.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, Central time. Somebody said Central.
There you
go. Which is okay. Because I was confused. I didn't know if it was 3 p.m. our or Central or 4. Because usually it's 3 Central, 2 hours. So.
Well, 3 Eastern, 2 hours.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we'll see. Some of you called Bell and I don't know, not probably Bell and I. It was probably you and I, Ken, a-holes on the radio.
No, I think that was me.
Goodness.
Yeah, because we were asking certain questions about, like, it's kind of weird that you just show up in their country and they put you in jail.
Oh.
I find it odd.
I can't believe Ken Weaver would ever be called an a-hole by anybody.
No, not anybody normal. Mostly
No.
wackadoos.
There's plenty.
Some people are mad. I'm never listening to you again. Of course you're not. But you'll text me tomorrow and tell me the same thing. Just because we don't agree on one thing doesn't mean that we don't agree on most things. Do people understand that? Are we past that? Is it's all or nothing?
It's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing.
All or nothing,
All
brother
or nothing.
Chad.
I don't do that.
All or nothing.
Do you do that with your wife or your friends? Because if you do,
Yes.
I have a
as soon as
feeling-
they say something I disagree with, they're gone. They're out.
I don't have any friends.
Hence the reason there's a lot of loneliness on the other side of the glass. I don't got any friends. Even my dog. If he doesn't agree with what I say, I kick him out of the house. That seems like a bit much. RFK. Yeah, a lot of people are chiming in. 3 p.m. Now people are saying it's 3 Eastern. Some people are saying it's 3 Central. I don't know. See how confusing it is?
Well, it's getting ready to be 3 Eastern in 2 minutes.
So we're going to find out what it is. Hopefully very soon. One person said, the other issue I would love Trump to address the crazy cost of organic foods and healthier foods, which is a big deal. It's expensive to eat healthy.
But some of this...
You don't need government to address that, though.
No, you don't.
Market can handle that on its own.
Yeah. But it is expensive to eat healthy. And that's why I choose to eat unhealthy, because I'm a money saver. Hour number 3 of the program straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes, and the Trump administration announcing an end to student loan bailout tries. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion. But fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers.
Now, wage garnishment could start in June. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers today to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. The announcement aimed at targeting artificial dyes that are used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more. It comes after studies suggest the dyes could be harmful. Here's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
The process to eliminate these substances from foods is a long regulatory process that will likely take years. From the result of today's meeting, we'll likely see outcomes within 2 to 3 years at best.
4 more Democratic Congress members just left El Salvador, where they claimed they were seeking answers about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran arrested in Maryland, then deported for being here illegally and alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. This is Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter.
This is one man and family's nightmare, but it could be anyone's.
Meanwhile, here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Star reports it has yet to learn from the FBI why the Biden FBI directed the Tennessee Highway Patrol to let Garcia and his 8 passengers go free, even though Garcia was driving on an expired Maryland license and troopers suspected human trafficking. Furthermore, the Tennessee Star says it has learned Garcia had gone 300 miles and more than 7 hours out of his way on his trip to Maryland from Texas by stopping in St. Louis. And as part of Patrick Crusius's sentencing today, family members of the 23 people he killed during a racist attack inside an El Paso Walmart 6 years ago were allowed to address him directly. This is the sister-in-law of victim Arturo Benavidez speaking through a translator.
Throw away your life. Y la nuestra. And ours, too.
Patrick Crusius could have faced the death penalty, but prosecutors said that process would take years. And retired NFL player Shannon Sharp going public, defending himself against rape claims being made in a new lawsuit.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues.
In a new online posting, Shannon Sharp says he is a victim of a shakedown. A woman says in a lawsuit that during a consensual relationship with Sharp, she was raped and threatened and is seeking $50 million. Sharp warning a short clip of a sex tape is likely about to be released.
It tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so.
He's calling on the woman's attorney to release the entire clip, which he says will show the encounter was consensual, and he says he now believes it was a setup. Alex Stone, EBC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
I want to talk to you guys about my friends over at Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A. Now, Byrna Technologies is amazing. This is non-lethal. So imagine going shooting with something non-lethal where you can practice every day without burning through your bank and having something that you can introduce to maybe family members, friends who are a little nervous about shooting. Byrna's launchers are incredible. The feel, the fit is incredible, what you get with these things. And yes, there is stopping power as well, especially if you've got younger kids. Maybe you're worried, even with the safe and things like that. Byrna allows you to not only train and to come to their facility, but also to have something around the house that, yes, you can carry anywhere, anytime, with no worry about a license, and it is amazing. Check this out. You can go right now. Free range with a Byrna launcher. You can bring your CO2s. Doesn't cost a ton of money if you want to buy a couple of them. You can get 10% off just by mentioning the fact that I sent you. They're open 7 days a week right here in Franklin. And it's a great way to train without breaking the bank and getting a feel that is real. And we were there a couple weeks ago. It was just amazing. And I've been working with Byrna for quite a while. They're awesome. Call them today. If you got any questions, they're open 7 days a week. 615-558-0534. 615-558-0534. Check them out on Byrna, BYRNA.com. Thunderstruck. Tell you what, some of you mad at us. So you sound condescending towards the listeners. We were talking about, of course, because when you bring up immigration, it is And I just want to tell you guys this. Having lived in California for a lot of my life and Arizona, and on the border. When I mean I was on the border, I'm not like, oh, you were on the border like you were in Phoenix. No, I was next to the border. I was left out of my complex a few miles away. Next thing you know, you're 2 hours to the Sea of Cortez. You're into the Tohono O'odham Nation, and then maybe 20, 30 minutes later, you're into Mexico kind of thing. I mean, I was on the border, and it is a battle that has gone on since I was a child. And I think what's going on at the border right now is amazing. The numbers, they show you how awesome they are. They're down big time. And it's going to take a lot of years to sort this out. By the way, years that even the Trump administration is going to have a hard time trying to sift this out because of the amount of people that Biden allowed through. That doesn't even begin to talk about how many people came through during even the first few years of President Trump. Their numbers aren't huge comparatively to Biden, but even before that, the numbers with Bush, they've been here for a long time. I've heard this number, 12 million. 12 million? 12 million's like 10 years old. We're probably I think, and I've always thought this, if America, including the Democrats, really knew the amount of people that were here, they would go, oh my God, no. So it's a touchy subject. And it is frustrating. I think most of us want to get this thing sorted out the best way possible, as fast as possible. But there is only so many resources and only so much money to go around. And that is also one of the issues. When you've allowed something to go on, and both sides are culpable in this, because big donors on both sides were fine with people turning a blind eye, and the Democrats thought one day, we'll get everybody here into a position where they're going to have a chance to vote, and they'll vote for us. And it's been a nightmare, but it's going to take time. And in a time when we can't even get through a TikTok, people get frustrated. And somebody said, you guys are condescending to your listeners. No. I said, let me tell you something. If I read some of the stuff that people write us, you'd be like, oh. It's the fact that we should have an open mind. We should have conversations. That's what this should be about, conversations on what is happening in the world. Conversations about, you and I have a chat about, maybe we don't see things eye to eye and everything, but that doesn't mean we don't see things the same way in 90% of it. And unfortunately, because of the tribal world that we live in, one thing where somebody feels like something's not working, you didn't say the thing I wanted, so you're out of the team. You're kicked out of the team. And that's something that we've got to fix. And I'm not even just talking about politics. That's a lot of different things, which is frustrating. Speaking of frustrating, farmers are frustrated. Here's something that affects us on a daily basis. If you have anything that happens to be electronic.
On a farm scattered across 2 Missouri counties.
I've been farming my entire life.
Jared Wilson is harvesting corn and soybeans.
Particularly for soybeans, we're always fighting to get the crop out before bad weather sets in.
But these days, the 5th-generation farmer is battling more than weather. His biggest challenge? The right to repair his own farming equipment when it breaks.
This is a problem that is affecting every class of electronic device, from your washing machine to your car to me with my combines and tractors.
The right to repair. So this has been bantied about for a while. And what has the right to repair, what doesn't? And because everything's electronic, it's a warranty. Even now, if you got a car, they look at it as an electronic. You take it somewhere that's not the dealer, you could be in serious trouble. They'll void the warranty. We're going to void the warranty. You took something somewhere. How dare you?
That's why McDonald's ice cream machines are always broken down, because they can't repair them themselves.
Yeah. And that's why Wendy's kicks their butt when it comes to that, always challenging the fights. And he's joking, but it's real. It's absolutely real.
No, I'm being honest.
Oh, 100%.
That's the entire point of wanting to be able to work on something that you've bought and you own. You know, it's one thing if you're leasing a car, but if you've bought the car and you own it and you're making the payments, you should be able to work on it yourself if you want to.
Yeah. Which is hard to do now. I mean, let's be real. Nowadays, working on your car, it's electronic.
It's so much computer-based stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Wilson is among hundreds of farmers across the country named in class action lawsuits against John Deere. They're accusing the company of blocking farmers and everyday mechanics from fixing equipment without going through John Deere dealers.
Would you say time means money?
Time absolutely means money in this business. And so while waiting on them, I had soybeans pods that were splitting open and my product was falling on the ground, right? I can't recover that.
I'm coming up, Jared.
Climb into the combine and you'll find the crux of the controversy. Farmers say this screen controls nearly everything inside. When there's an issue, a code flashes, but according to the lawsuit, only Deere authorized technicians can access the software and tools needed to diagnose and repair. Farmers and independent mechanics are locked out.
Even if I identify what the problem is here and I replace it, I still don't have the technology to plug in to the diagnostic port on this machine and put the software on that it needs to complete the repair.
And Wilson says the wait to get a John Deere technician can take weeks, and he eats the cost.
And that right there is a big deal. When you're a farmer, you know you can't go weeks at times, especially during the time of year when you need the harvest stuff, get stuff ready. And this is a frustration everywhere. I mean, I've had people come out to the house and look and go, I can't, if I touch this, it's going to void your warranty. And you're like, well, it's having a captured audience. It's what they want, right? Like this is the captured audience and it looks like this. You got to use our stuff. It'd be one thing if they said, we can come out, we can diagnose it, and you can take it wherever you want to get it fixed. No, but you got to do everything through them, or else we can't guarantee that, so you're SOL.
How much money have you lost waiting on John Deere?
I personally have lost, I would say, several $100,000.
Deere has rejected the claims made in those lawsuits, but the court denied their attempt to dismiss the case. And in January, the Federal Trade Commission sued John Deere over what it called a use of, quote, unlawful business practices that have driven up repair costs for farmers, while also depriving them of the ability to make timely repairs. Lena Khan is the former FTC chair who helped file the suit.
I would have sometimes farmers, close to tears, recalling the time when they lost a whole harvest because they weren't able to fix their own tractor.
Khan says if companies control who can repair equipment, industries from automotive to healthcare could pay the price.
Illegal restrictions on people's ability to repair their own product is affecting people across the board.
In a statement responding to the FTC case, which is still pending.
Yeah, let's hear what the statement is. By the way, just to let you guys know, that's why you go out and you buy like a Saturn. You can work on that all day. No, but there's no warranty on a Saturn. They also don't break. I remember having I've had a couple cars where I've taken to places and this is going to void the warranty if you do certain things. But then you go to the place and they're like, we can get you in 4 days, or we can get this done. Or, if we do that, you come in 4 or 5 days, we can get this done. And then they want to sell you their parts, and you can go somewhere else and get them cheaper, but then you're worried.
And not only that, it's like if you pick your guy and say, I'm going to take it to guy X to fix, and he says, well, I'm sorry, I can't get you in for 5 days. You are completely within your rights to go, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take you to your competition. He can get me in 2.
And that should be the thing where they have, look, the warranty is if we can't get you within 24 to 48 hours, then you should be allowed to take it anywhere. And you go in, but then you're also risking, are they going to tell the truth? That's the issue. I don't know. It's a frustrating thing.
John Deere said it does have a, quote, long-standing commitment to customer self-repair, and that the complaint is, quote, based on flagrant misrepresentations of the facts. The company told NBC News it does plan to improve the repair software it offers to customers in an annual subscription by this fall. But the farmers and farmer advocates we spoke to have doubts.
They've promised to make the tools available, but haven't done it.
Willie Cade, grandson of a former John Deere engineer, is pushing for states to implement laws protecting farmers' repair rights. So far, Colorado is the only state to pass one. 18 states have introduced similar agricultural laws this year.
How close do you think you are to the finish line?
5 years away before farmers actually will be able to fix their own equipment.
Wilson, who rode tractors before he could spell his name, says that wait may cost him more than a season's harvest. He fears it could end his family's 100-year farming legacy.
I have the fruits of my labor deteriorating out in the field. The frustration of that, I'd rather give up my farm than have someone dictate those terms to me.
So frustrating. Several of you have chimed in and said it's the same thing with our equipment for construction. And we have to shut down a job site because we can't get somebody to come out. And you're at the mercy of somebody being able to come out, in many cases, to take a look at something. And that's not even repairing it. That's just telling you what's wrong with it, which is absolutely frustrating, for sure. Somebody chimed in and said, hey, why don't you take calls? The reason is, how fast have we moved? We've done like 15 stories today. I don't like to go backwards. We're a hard-charging forward thing. Plus, Bell informed me when I first started working here, he's lazy and he doesn't want to talk to any of you. And I was like, that's good.
Amen.
Got it out there. Ken would take your phone calls happily, but we'd have to wake him up.
He's in a different room, though.
It'd
He
be
can't
a
get
different
the phone.
Tradio, you're on the air.
Oh, Tradio. We got to bring back Tradio. We have to bring back Tradio fast. These corporations, though, it's the same thing with Apple. That's the problem. Like, Apple's not open source. They only want, if you're going to design something, it's got to be for them specifically. They're not open source where Android is. And that's the frustration people have with Apple, because it's about capturing a customer base, then getting them locked in to you and you alone, or else. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about the Pope. No longer with us. Poping ain't easy. We've told you guys that for a very long time. Still not easy, by the way. Poping. Got some of your text messages as well. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, RUFFgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega 369. You guys hear me talk about it. Imagine this. One scoop a day, change your dog's life in ways you can't even believe. Maybe your dog's new to the world, right? Pup, you want to start him off right? Try Rough Greens. Maybe your dog's a little bit longer in the tooth. Slow down a little bit. Try Rough Greens. It's got all this incredible stuff, and one scoop a day will change your dog's life. Do the 90-day challenge. First, they're going to send you out a $20 jumpstart value, absolutely free. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad. Use code Chad. Then, the 90-day challenge. First 30 days, what are you going to notice? More energy, shinier coat. By day 60. Coat fuller, thicker, immune system stronger, and mobility. The joints, they're starting to loosen up because of the live enzymes and stuff inside that one scoop a day. By day 90, immune system stronger, heart health incredible, more energy, fuller, no shedding coat. It's awesome. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free at $20 value. Cover the cost of shipping. And take the 90-day challenge. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad. Use my code Chad. RUFFgreens.com. Code Chad.
A bill to dismantle DEI policies in local governments and Tennessee colleges and universities is headed to Governor Lee, who can sign it into law. The Trump administration announcing an end to student loan bailouts. These stories and more at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
SCOTUS hearing a case about parental rights and the books and whatnot. Who's the what? Oh.
If the Supreme Court sides with these parents, they potentially could be establishing for the first time a parental right to pull your kids out of class anytime something is taught that conflicts with your religious beliefs. The liberal justices today in the courtroom suggested the list could be long.
The list could be long. It's actually a few books that were brought up in front of the court today. The fact that we have to go do this, by the way, one of the things that you're not hearing about the argument is they're not arguing to pull the book so kids can't get them. That their kids should have the right as a parent to opt out of certain things and for it not to go to kids at a certain age level, which should be common sense.
The school board says opt-outs are hard to administer. They also are disrespectful to same-sex families. And so the debate today very much centered on those lines. When does exposure to ideas in the classroom become coercion?
That's a good question. Because to think, what's funny? The left always thinks that anytime, if you even mention the Bible in the classroom, you're trying to coerce people. You're trying to preach to people. You're trying to push religion on people. Yet those same people would argue that they should be able to talk about any of the stuff, trans, non-binary, all that stuff, and that's just a conversation. They're not trying to push something. So what do I think is going to happen to this? Well, I think I think this will be 7-2. I mean, the conservative justices obviously are going to rule, but I wouldn't be surprised if a liberal justice also happens to rule with the conservatives.
A majority of the justices, nearly all the conservative justices, were very sympathetic to the parents in this case. The parents are asking for the right to remove their kids from class. They were talking about elementary school level kids here. Anytime a storybook, fairy tale involving same-sex characters, maybe there's a marriage involved in the book, they want the ability for teachers to give notice that the book will be read or is available and want the kids to be able to opt out.
There you go. I would do that. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. My math book is so gay. I should probably not be in there.
Can't do math anymore.
Oh.
Calculus made me never mind.
Yeah. 2 + 2 is trans. I got to leave. I don't think it's those books. There was like 3 books. One of them was about a puppy that got lost at a pride parade. And I'm like, okay. But like, why is the puppy at the pride? Like, what's the whole point of this? Well, it's to be more inclusive. Okay. It feels like you're oh, wait, because you are. You're pushing something that shouldn't be. There's nothing you can't talk about, especially age appropriate. That's the other side of it. Somewhere along the line, and we talked about it last week, we have decided that it's full bore, do whatever you want when it comes to, the questionnaires you give kids. We're talking about Burlington, Vermont or whatever last week, that questionnaire about all these sex things that they were at. I can't even say them on the air because, Bell will get fired. But and we don't want that, dude. I don't. I really like you. But,
I'll take one for the team.
Yeah, that's part of that questionnaire. We take one for the team. I mean, they're worse than Kanye tweets.
Oh, man.
And those were horrible. But why? Why are you asking these things? Why? So, yes, there's a reason to ask certain questions. And reasonable parents, logical liberals, there are some out there, I know some of you may disagree, are asking the same damn question. Like, wait, what? No way. That should happen. Whether it's the drag queen insanity of, look, I don't care that you're a drag queen. I've been to Hamburger Mary's. If you've never been and you're in California, you have a chance to go to Hamburger Mary's. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. It's drag queen. But you know what? It's meant for over 18.
Got an old boy named Mary serving you burgers.
That's right. Right? Twigs and berries with Marys. But it's funny. Right? It's like you go there, it's funny. I will tell you this. If I said, hey, tomorrow we're going to have, a children's reading hour with Crystal and Savannah.
Champagne.
And champagne. That's right. We're all going to go to the champagne room. But today it's going to be grape juice. Well, what do you in the sippy cup? Oh, sure, the dads would be fine with it. But I bet the educators would be a little upset. Wouldn't they? I mean, how many times do you hear about like a couple that's an OnlyFans couple and then the parents try to get them kicked out of school? And that's not at school. They're not OnlyFans at school. Although some teachers have. Let's not pretend that they haven't. Coming up, we're going to talk a little Pope stuff. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Passed away.
Pope ain't easy.
Yesterday. Pope ain't easy, man. He tried. 88 years young. He was just getting ready, too, before J.D. Vance shook his hand. He was on the up and up. Then J.D. met him. Next thing you know, the poison got in.
You think they got him like the Russians did that guy with the umbrella?
Yep, just like that.
Just tagged him with some radio.
He probably had something like a fake like plastic on the hand, but poison on it, and J.D. shook his hand, and away he went. Oh, man. We're going to talk about Popin', a bunch of other stuff straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk, 99.7.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, a bill is headed to the governor's desk, which he can sign into law, titled the Dismantled DEI Act. So this bans colleges, universities, and local governments from making hiring decisions or admissions decisions based on race, sex, religion, age, or disability. Trump administration announcing an end to student loan bailouts. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt today.
No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans.
Could lead to wage garnishments by June. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers today to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. The announcement aimed at targeting artificial dyes used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more comes after studies suggest the dyes could be harmful. Here's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
The process to eliminate these substances from foods is a long regulatory process that will likely take years. From the result of today's meeting, we'll likely see outcomes within 2 to 3 years at best.
4 more Democratic Congress members just left El Salvador, where they claim they were seeking answers about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran, arrested in Maryland last month, deported for being here illegally, and alleged ties to the MS-13 gang.
This is about due process. It's about constitutional rights.
That is Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. Meanwhile, here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Star reports it has yet to learn from the FBI why, during the Biden administration, the FBI directed the Tennessee Highway Patrol to let Garcia and his 8 passengers go free, even though Garcia didn't have a valid driver's license and troopers suspected human trafficking. Furthermore, the Tennessee Star says it has learned Garcia had gone 300 miles and more than 7 hours out of his way from his trip from Texas to Maryland for a stop in St. Louis. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy Bee Plumbing. Go to busybehvac.com now. See all the amazing things they've got going on as far as getting ready for the warmer months. And let me tell you something. First thing you're going to want to do is join the Beehive Club. It's that simple and easy to do. But then you can start looking around going, okay, well, I could use a little help here with my HVAC to make sure it's tuned up and ready to roll. They've got that for you, and it is incredible. Spring, breathe easy, AC tune-up, duct inspection, whole home germicide system. So germicidal, they're going to go in there, make sure everything's cool, and a bonus-free unit deodorizer. They've got it going, and right now, you can save big there. That's why you become a Beehive member. What about, say, Chad, this is okay, but I'm worried a little bit about my plumbing. How about a deep clean drain detox, mainline cheddar, free bioenzyme drain treatment, free camera inspection, all of these things, deep discounts there, and they're going to treat you amazing. Whether you have issues with your HVAC or your plumbing or both, Busy Bee has you covered. Join the Beehive Club today. And just a couple inspections pays for that. Call 775-7833, 775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Raycon, best earbuds around. You know what mom wants for Mother's Day? Shh. Peace and quiet. Raycon's delivered those. The best sound quality, second to none, but also active noise cancellation at a price that will not break the bank. So, why don't you try this? Get yourself a set of Raycons and get your mom one as well. You're going to win Mother's Day. 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life, multi-connectivity, a fit and feel second to none, 30-day happiness guarantee, tons of colors to choose from, and 20% off right now. What are you waiting for? Mom wants you to win Mother's Day. We want you to win with her. Get her the best earbuds around from Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. That's buyraycon.com/Chad for the best earbuds around. The everyday earbuds from Raycon. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Did you guys see they've got a new standard now for the Army physical test? Right, so combat ready. Because right now, combat ready means you can play on an app. Which is, let's be real, the future, guys, is that.
Clones,
drones. I saw there was a Chinese robot that ran a marathon. I mean, when do you think we get our first in-game competition with robots versus humans? Like a pitcher or a hitter?
That would be interesting to see. Because you know they're working on it.
Of course. Look at Bell's thinking about it. He's all,
Yeah, I am. Be interesting.
A pitcher that can throw 200 miles per hour.
Yeah, that feels like it's not going to be.
As soon as a robot like that is viable, you know they're going to have at least an exhibition game with a robot pitcher or a robot runner or something like that.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. It's going to happen. It is, it's not if, but when that's going to happen. But to what extent? To what extent are we going to say we're cool with all this kind of stuff? I think in some ways we will be. In other ways, not so much.
If you've got a robot pitcher who can throw 200 miles per hour, you better have a robot catcher, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a robot batter.
Yeah. And at this point in time, it's just robots.
It's just robots.
A robot ump.
Yeah, I'm not standing there. I mean,
no way, man.
No way.
That would smash your mask.
Somebody said that would be like women in men's sports or men in women's sports. Absolutely. Cornhole.
Robot
cornhole. Or what about like bowling? Like, or pool.
Do you think the robots that set up the pins that we've had for decades will be jealous of the robots that actually get to play the game?
Oh, totally. There might be a battle at night. It's going to be like Five Nights at Freddy's the minute it's closed
Duke it
off.
out.
They're going to be duking it out. They're going to be bringing their pins up, fighting you. They're going to shoot the ball back at 100 miles an hour. Oh, it's going to happen, people. It's going to. This is fun because we like fun things. The Oscars. So there's new rules for the Oscars. I tell you guys this because it's hilarious.
It sounds like a punchline, but it's actually the Oscars' newest rule. Starting in 2026, if Academy voters want to cast a ballot in the final round, they'll have to watch every nominated film in a category before voting. And yes, this is the first time that's ever been required. The internet reaction has mostly been one big collective question mark, with most people surprised that this hadn't been done before. The Academy made the announcement in a press release Monday, and according to Variety, voting eligibility will be tracked through a private streaming platform for members.
So just to get this out there, you didn't actually have to watch any of the movies to vote on them. And now you have to go to a special...
Why should they have to watch the movies when the audience barely does?
Yeah. They're like, I don't want to watch this crap. My buddy used to be a voter. And he's like, dude, he goes, I will watch a few of them, but most of them are crap. There's a reason they're art movies and they're only in 4 theaters because they're stupid. They're meant to be for art people. They're meant for critics. They're not meant for the average person.
If a voter watches a film elsewhere, they'll have to submit a form explaining where and when. To be clear, Academy members are the ones who choose the Oscar winners. So if you've ever felt a film was snubbed, there's a chance the people voting didn't even watch it. Up until now, members were only encouraged to watch nominated films and to vote in categories they felt qualified in, according to the Associated Press. Some voters have admitted to skipping out in the past. A director told Entertainment Weekly ahead of this year's show, "I'm bummed because I haven't seen The Substance or I'm still here yet. The first Dune I couldn't get through. I'm not rushing for another 3 hours of Dune. There's still time to reevaluate, but I really struggled."
I just love the fact that they're doing that. They're also putting new rules on AI because there's that worry that AI is going to be, taking over. And my other company, we do stuff with AI. We do stuff for creative for AI. And we're doing stuff right now with the Angel Pictures. And the bids that they got for certain things were so ridiculous, even though on the low end, comparatively to ours. And our stuff is amazing. AI can do stuff that others just can't. And that's amazing.
This rule change is a part of a broader shakeup. The Academy also clarified its stance on AI. Going forward, AI-generated work won't help or hurt a film's nomination potential, but the degree of human creativity behind it will be considered. Some of the additional changes include an animated short film. All Academy members can now vote in nominations if they watch all 15 shortlisted films. In cinematography, a new preliminary voting round will determine a short list of 10 to 20 films. And in international feature film, eligibility now includes filmmakers with refugee or asylum status. These changes follow recent news that a stunt design category is coming in 2028, and Conan O'Brien is set to host again in 2026 after his first time hosting the ceremony this year.
If there's not a fight, I ain't watching. You tell me that there's going to be round 2 of Smith and Chris Rock, I'll tune in.
Yeah, but this time I want to see Chris deck him.
Well, I want to see Chris know what's coming and be able to throw down immediately. Get ready. Pope died this weekend, or yesterday, Easter Monday. So he is going to be laid to rest on Saturday. Then it's a 15-day period from yesterday, 15 to 20 days. So 2 weeks from yesterday, at the earliest, they can start the conclave. You're saying to yourself, isn't that a movie that won Academy Awards? Kinda, sort of.
When a pope passes away or steps down, the eyes of the world turn to the Vatican, and the centuries-old tradition known as the conclave begins. But what exactly is a conclave, and how does it work? The word conclave comes from Latin conclave, meaning with a key. That's because when the cardinals gather to choose the next pope, they're literally locked inside the Sistine Chapel until a decision is made. Step 1, the preparation. After the pope dies or resigns, the College of Cardinals meet in Rome. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are allowed to vote. That's usually around 120 men. Step 2, the secrecy. They take an oath of secrecy. No phones, no press, no leaks. They're cut off from the outside world, with security sweeping for bugs and signals, and yes, the guards do check for hidden devices. Step 3, the voting. Voting happens inside the Sistine Chapel. Each cardinal writes a name on a paper ballot and walks it up to the altar, placing it inside a special chalice. To elect a new pope, a cardinal needs a 2/3 majority. Step 4, the smoke signals. Here's the part everyone watches for. The smoke. After each vote, ballots are burned. If no pope is chosen, chemicals are added to create black smoke. If a new pope is elected, white smoke rises from the chimney. When does it start? Technically, the conclave can begin 15 to 20 days after a papal vacancy. That gives cardinals time to arrive from around the world. But once voting begins, it usually moves fast. In modern times, it takes 2 to 5 days. Step 5. Habeas papam. When someone finally gets enough votes, he asks if he accepts. If he does, he chooses a papal name, like John Paul or Francis. Then habeas papam. We have a pope. So next time you see the white smoke curling up from the Sistine Chapel, you'll know history is happening and a new chapter for the Catholic Church is about to begin.
Johnny Thunder. That's who we went with as our papal name. Johnny Thunder. I think he's going to be our favorite pope.
That's what you guys went with.
Johnny Thunder.
We can start having concerts in front of St. Peter's Basilica.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Would you get the, who were they? Is it Enigma? You remember Enigma, the band?
Enigma? Or we can get Enya?
Yeah, with Enya and Nick, we can get them all.
Oh. Get the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, go over there.
No, they're Mormons, man. Right. We want Enigma.
Oh, well, okay.
Enigma's awesome. Think about it. Why would the Mormons be there?
Yeah, because...
Oh, my God, you can't have Mormonism
wine.
Can't be in the Catholicism.
Yeah, and you can't have wine as a Mormon.
Peanut butter and chocolate.
That's exactly it.
You couldn't step... A practicing Mormon could not step into the Vatican.
That's right.
Because they drink things that Mormons can't have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about real
coffee.
Coffee,
right?
wine.
But you have to... Look at, man, we give you the opportunity, Bella. You chime in. Next thing you know, you're bringing different religions.
I know. We're
going to get the Tabernacle Choir?
I'm problematic like that.
When it came out of your mouth, did you think, God, that didn't sound good? What was I thinking?
No, all I was concerned about is hoping that somebody in the audience would laugh, and then I could feel justified for saying it.
I hope some of you guys laugh. Make him feel better, please.
Please clap.
Joe Exotic.
Please clap.
Johnny Dangerously.
Joe
Exotic. I'm telling you guys. Right now. Johnny Thunder would be an awesome name.
Johnny Thunder.
But they're like, no, you got to go with Pope Francis. How many names? How many?
Popey McPope.
Popey McPope face.
Man, you boys.
Isn't it weird that you have to have a stage name to be Pope?
And just for the record, we're not making fun of the dead. We're making fun of the next guy that's coming along to replace him.
We don't know what he's going to be like. We already know that there are 5 people out there. We've talked about it. The guy from the Philippines, Tagli or whatever, he's kind of the cat that a lot of people think is going to get it. Although the guy that is the Secretary of State, the person who handles all of the Pope's business side of things for the last several years and who is in the Vatican is also one of the favorites. And a lot of people think he's kind of middle of the road. And so we'll see. But there are betting pools out there if you're interested.
So it's up to the Pope to pick his name.
Somebody said Billy Graham. Carlos Danger. Nah, that's already taken. Somebody laughed at the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. That's all that mattered. People giggled. What's wrong with letting the Mormons into the Vatican? Nothing.
Nothing. They probably won't go in.
No, they probably
like the
won't.
hardcore Mormons and there were a lot of them in Idaho. Like I worked with a guy. He was not allowed to go to his sibling's wedding.
Why? Oh, because
at the Mormon Tabernacle because he drinks coffee. He wasn't allowed inside.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I've heard of parents not going to their own kid's wedding.
That was because they hated their kids, though.
No, they were standing outside. That's the way it is. And I'm not going to bring the Tabernacle Choir. I know this last Pope was very inclusive. I don't think that was going to happen. But Johnny Thunder may be different, guys.
It's definitely not going to be Joseph Smith.
It is. That'd be funny. You got to pick a name, though. So you get to pick your own stage name. But it's like from a group of names. So it's not like you could have, like I say Johnny Thunder because I think that's cool. But maybe
Who
you pick
looks at
else?
the name Benedict, though, and goes, oh, yeah, that's for me.
See, that's what I was wondering. Like, are the names already there and you just pick from names that are
I think
already
you have to pick
set?
from, there's a set group of names. No, Jim Jones is not one of them.
Oh. Have you seen the inside of the book? You don't know that. Pope Jim Jones.
Come here, David Koresh. I need to talk to you, Pope Koresh. Oh, Chad. I can't believe it. We're going to wrap it up straight ahead. I see that Matt is here, and he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I'm wearing white flannel. It's like he and I are on an island vacation. We discuss straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. We are here broadcasting live. Both you and I look like we should be on vacation somewhere, drinking drinks with little umbrellas in.
Well, it's summer-like conditions out of doors.
It is. It is.
Not in here, though.
No?
In here, it's a nice, cool, I don't know what it is, 60 degrees or something.
I would say about 70-ish.
Got my
70.
Hawaiian fare on. You got your nice linen top on, looking good.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. We both got boat shoes on. Boat shoes, baby! Yeah, like the Hey Dudes.
No, these aren't the Hey Dudes. I think these are, you know what? These are the Jimmy Buffetts, and I don't like to admit that.
Why?
I think that's right. Because Jimmy Buffett was a jerk. Yeah, these are Margaritaville. I got them on sale. Because Jimmy Buffett was a jerk. And, I know he's dead and all, but he was a jerk.
Yeah, but are the shoes comfortable?
They're very comfortable.
It's not like he made them.
Well, I mean, but he made money on them.
Well, there you go. I don't care about that.
I mean, I do.
Well,
I give money to that jerk.
The jerk.
I've not told you the story. So there's a.
Was he mean specifically to you? That he's like, you know what? I wake up every day.
No, he was
hoping...
mean to a friend of mine.
Okay.
Before he went on stage for a concert, he was nasty to a friend of mine, and this is years before I met the friend. But she told me the story. And anyway, he was an incredibly litigious guy.
Yeah.
Like wanted to sue everybody for everything. And there was a restaurant in Birmingham, Alabama, called Margarita Grill. Right? Margarita Grill. And Jimmy Buffett sued them, demanding that they change their name. And the restaurant was named after the owner's grandmother, who was named Margarita.
Yeah. In
El Salvador somewhere. No, they actually challenged it in court and spent tens of thousands of dollars, and eventually Jimmy Buffett lost the lawsuit.
That's good. Oh, yeah. I understand why people protect. I had a buddy I worked with, Brian Burns, his name, Mr. Rock and Roll. Mm-hmm. He actually went and patented, and he had the whole thing. It's his copyright. Man, if you use Mr. Rock and Roll anywhere, I don't care if you're in Podunk, Ohio, you're getting a cease and desist and a lawsuit.
Well, I don't mind saying Michael Buffer's name, but I'm not saying the other thing.
Oh, no.
We say the other thing, we get flagged, they come in, they ask about it. No, I'm not doing that.
No. I think you can get away with it if you're not making money off of it.
Yes, like in this conversation, we could technically say it.
Yeah, because we're not pimping it out.
But I don't dare do it.
But if you do, and you know what? There's always those people who think, oh, don't worry, they're never going to find out, some mattress store somewhere, and they do it, and the next thing you know, you get a cease and desist and find out you have to pay him like $50,000.
I mean, but I guess if that's the one thing the guy's known for, and I mean,
how smart was it, though?
The Michael Buffer thing is actually kind of funny. To me, I don't know.
What do you think his net worth is?
He's probably worth millions of dollars.
What do you think? Okay,
Michael Buffer? I think he's dead. Is he not dead?
No.
Is he not? Okay.
No, I think you guys are going to be surprised on his net worth. People always freak out about his net worth. What do you think it is?
I think Michael Buffer's net worth is $9 million.
Let's see here. How about you, Ken? Michael Buffer, net worth?
Net worth, Michael Buffer.
Yeah, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. There, I said it.
I'll say $25 million.
All right. Bell, throw it out there.
10.
$400 million.
What?
Son of a biscuit eater.
$100 million.
That's not true.
Because of this. He's licensed it everywhere. And it's being played. Probably right now, he's making $10,000 for some commercial using it. Licensing.
Yeah, people spend, $1,000 here, $20,000 there, $50,000 there, whatever.
So when you see the guy come up in a tuxedo and going in this quarter, le fuego from, because he does a great job at that. I mean, it's like, one thing to do.
That was his thing.
Yeah. I do. He does a hell of a job, and he gets people excited. And then his brother is the guy on the UFC, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
That's his brother, who is the dude who does the UFC.
You think if somebody says it in a foreign language, they still have to pay him?
It depends on where. If you're in another country, that's going to be hard.
So you were off yesterday. We did. We had a big snakes on the plane. Remember that, Ken? Ken and I did.
Yes.
You remember what it was? El Serpientes.
Yeah. Cobras no aviao.
Do you know when the guy who directed that, he goes and he will redo the scene for television because he knows it's going to be edited.
Well, who was it? Well, I think Chris Webber said that the edit for television is
Monday, Friday.
I'm tired of these Monday, Friday
but
snakes.
He edits all of these things. He does it for television, has them say these things because he knows he's going to use them for television.
Right.
It's just so weird.
Oh, no.
There's no beeping
Movies years ago, there's a lot of directors do that. Yeah. They do pre-roll on, and so they get the actual actors to say alternate lines.
Which are so Monday, Friday.
Tired of these Monday, Friday snakes.
Serpents. These serpentines. Hey, Johnny Thunder's going to be the new pope. Johnny Thunder. We've picked the Pope's new name, Johnny Thunder.
Oh, well, that's good. Pope Johnny Thunder the first? Or was there another Johnny Thunder?
Zeus.
There's been a lot of popes.
There's a lot of popes.
Apparently, the next one's the last one. Have you heard that conspiracy theory?
I've heard that.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
Be prepared. They're always the last
There's
one.
always the last one.
All
Sure.
right. Matt, coming up straight ahead, he's got more theology for you. It's the Chad Benson Show. Have a good one.